Dr. Aziz, you have come up with a very comforting message for the Malaysians after the National Security Bill was passed, saying that it's not really the end of the matter. Perhaps you can start off by telling us, are there any practical steps that we can take as citizens from here on out?
Happy to see you guys coming in full force, because I think, given what my colleague Yang Bormat Hanipa told me from his out-of-town activities, most people, especially in the kampungs area, simply, still unable to make sense of what this National Security Council is about. So seeing you people, friends, then in full force is a good thing, and obviously there is hope still to stop this monstrous bill, as said by YB just now. Now, first of all, let me probably make a few notes that we have had several councils before. In 1969, after the emergency was declared by the Yang Tuan Agong, but of course it's a matter of discussion whether it was really an emergency or just a way to kick a sitting Prime Minister out. But there was this National Operation Council, NOC, Majlis Gerakan Negara, chaired by the then Deputy Prime Minister Tun Razak, to run the country. And he basically ran the country through decrees using the powers declared by the Yang Tuan Agong under Evidencia under 115. And then we have, later we have this National Economic Council formed by Dr. Mahathir when the country was hit by economic crisis in 1997. But the one thing about that particular council, the Economic Council, it was very much part and parcel of the government. So I agree with YB Kitsiang's point that the problem with this one is that we have got now a monster being created by Parliament to take over the cabinet. So if we had something like NEC, Majlis Tindakan Ekonomi Negara, way back in 1997, it was still basically part of the cabinet. It was still basically cabinet committee. So it's the government who is basically responsible to the House. But the problem with this one is that it is a monster created by Parliament to take over the cabinet, and that is the problem, because you have the Prime Minister, the Deputy, Minister of Defence, Minister of Home Affairs, together with this unelected public servant. We have got the Chief Secretary of the Government, Ketua Sesama Negara there. We have got Panglima Angkatan Tentera, the Chief of Defence Forces, and the IGP. So they are not elected people, and I think the problem, or rather the worry, is that how can we surrender the running of the country to unelected people, because according to the Constitution, not just in Malaysia, but throughout the Commonwealth, the Westminster world, it is the cabinet, the sitting government, that hold the mandate of the people, and they are answerable to the House. So this is the problem with the way I look at it from the constitutional point of view, is that it interferes with the main framework of the Constitution, which allows us as the taxpayers, as the population, as the voters, to make the government of the day responsible to us, to our MPs. But with this monster, we suddenly have this possible scenario whereby we have got, you may have a situation whereby the Prime Minister has lost the confidence of the entire cabinet. So we have got just a group of people, his loyalists, his or her loyalists, sitting in the cabinet, making or declaring things, continuing to run the country. Well, this is, I think, the main danger with this National Security Council. At the moment, yes, we have got what is known as a National Security Council, Majlis Keselamatan Negara, and the department is not a statutory body as such. But now, with the passing of the bill at the Dewan Rakyat, we have passed through the stage whereby it could become a full-fledged body, which can be used by a besieged, a beleaguered Prime Minister to continue his rule. And this is, this is what is happening in the country, and this is, I think, the danger apart from the white powers that, and I'm sure some of my colleagues would be explaining later. But this is, I think, the major thing. I mean, as a system, we have got this responsible government where the cabinet is basically the center, not the public servant, not the public service. Because the military and the police are part of the public service. They are not elected, and they are just there working on operating under the direction of the elected politician. So that is the system in normal circumstances. So now we have got this NSC bill, which I think, if it is passed by the Dewan Negara and eventually being signed by the Yang will become another option for the beleaguered Prime Minister to continue his ways. And this is very bad because we already have this SOSMA. We have seen problem with POTA and how the insertion of 124B to penal code, our YB here action has been taken against him under this particular provision for doing allegedly things that said as undermining parliamentary democracy. So this is another tool available to the Prime Minister. So I think this is something which shouldn't be happened. Of course, the problem is when you have got a tariffat government, this is the thing that you have to, that will happen. This is anywhere in the world that when you have a government that is not sure of itself, that is terrified, that is probably unable to command the support of the population, then this is what they do. They will come up with all sort of regulation, all sort of decrees, will make use of whatever available powers to them to make sure they remain in power. Now I've said a few things of some of the probably possible ways to stop the bill. One of them is, of course, the Dewan Negara, where you have got this provision in the Constitution which allow Dewan Negara, the Senate, to delay the bill for 12 months. Obviously, the Dewan Negara, being unelected as of now, has no power to throw away the bill. Though the Dewan Negara, the Senate, can veto the bill when it comes to amendment of the Constitution, but when it comes to ordinary bill, what it can do is just to delay the bill for 12 months, which, according to the Commission report, is there to allow public discussion, to highlight problems and so on. Of course, when it comes to budget, it can only stop or it can be delayed for just 1 month. But in this particular bill, this type of rang undang-undang, Dewan Negara can stop for 12 months. So I hope with the inclusion of senators from Pakatan Harapan and Pakatan Rakyat, something can be done about it. And now, if they are not strong enough to do it, we pray that the Yang Tanagong can do something, even though some of you may point out the provision that was put in by Mahathir way back in 1994 to bypass the Yang Tanagong. But my argument is that was done without the consent of the Conference of Rulers. So there is this question there is this doubt of whether this provision is legal or not. So I believe the rulers, with this recent statement on 1MDB, they have their concern, and I think we can hope for their good judgment to do something about the bill. Now, if this probably the second thing also doesn't materialize, probably we can hope for the third one. Some people with enough local standard to go to court and put up the argument, the draft of the Constitution, to ask the judges to declare the law as illegal or unconstitutional, because obviously the court has got this inherent power under this check and balance theory, judicial review, to throw away, or rather to stop, or rather to declare the bill as illegal, because it has done away with many principles pertaining the notion of responsibility, of accountability of the sitting government to the people. So we believe that I believe with this, because the provision are available, so it's up to them. And I think we have come to the ground. We have come to a point whereby everybody has got to play a role. The Senate, the Yang Tanagong, and of course the judges, they got to do something to save the country, because I think we have had enough. And I think all these years, for about more than, we are approaching 60 years anniversary of our independence. In fact, we should stop this, and I think we no longer, we cannot afford to tolerate this nonsense anymore, because I think we have come to a point whereby this is the fabric, the basic foundation of our constitution, of our democratic constitution, or democratic system. We cannot just allow it to sit back and do nothing about it. And I think this is important for us to make it the public understand, because I think over here people are passionate, you are aware of the repercussion, but I'm afraid out there, even among some of the educated people, still they don't understand, because they are being taken away by this IS, terrorism, and so on, which I think is not so much about. This is not the main thing to be dealt with by this. Somebody asked this question whether, I have to say that everywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, there is this question of an ongoing debate about emergency powers, whether, yes, of course it's necessary to have these powers to protect democracy, but the problem is, who is there to judge whether or not there is emergency? And at what point it must stop? And to whom should this power be put in? That is the problem. That's the ongoing debate. There's no question, there's no argument about defending democracy, about defending the system against all this, from terrorism and whatnot, IS, whatever. But the problem is, we have seen that the moment you give this power to the government, whoever they are, they will find it later that it's hard for them to part with it. It's so sweet, so easy, Because you have seen in Malaysia, they have what they call it, annulled the emergency declaration. They have even abolished ISA, but after that we have seen more and even probably worse laws following. So, and of course the constitution is not perfect. I think the problem with the constitution is that instead of just putting 150 or 149, the great mistake of the Red Commission, they allow these two, 149 and 150. Some of the academics pointed out that the problem with this NLC is that it simply doesn't fit into any of this framework laid down by the Constitution. But to me, I think it doesn't matter, because you have seen ISA. ISA was enacted, was done under 149, but you have seen how it was implemented. So even when you put this law within this framework, there's no guarantee that it will eventually take care of these human rights. What more when it is done outside that framework? Now this is the problem. Thank you.